Hey there, everybody. It's Tuesday night, and it's time for another pit stop with Over the Road Paranormal. And I want to welcome all you paranormal enthusiasts to the show. It's been a really wild and crazy couple of weeks here. Back to work now. Vacation is over. The team took on a massive undertaking here this past weekend, July 24th and July 26th. We went and we investigated at Ashmore Estates, and then turned around and went back to back, went down and did Bobby Mackey's. Um, we didn't have any of the extreme uh, activity that you see on a lot of the other shows. We did have some really interesting things happen. Um, we're still kind of putting everything together. Everybody's doing equipment checks and starting to do the whole analysis thing. So I really don't have a whole lot of videos or photos or anything to show you guys. In fact, all my cameras are still in the boxes. I haven't even pulled them out to start downloading anything yet. I got my computer back. I still don't have my files from previous episodes that I recorded, but I'm not giving up on that quite yet. Anyhow, so first of all, Saturday night, July 24th, we went to Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois. We had three team members. Three team members were there. Myself, Gene, and Cindy. Gene is my other lead investigator. She's also the head of Atlas, which technically is the team behind Over the Road Paranormal. We specialize in a lot of research with Atlas, where Over the Road is more going out and making the show, presenting the stuff that Atlas comes up with. And Cindy is our genealogist. I almost said gynecologist, and that would have been totally wrong. Anyway, trying to straighten my hair out here as I don't look such a wreck after working all day. Let's see, what I went. Okay, we went to Ashmore Estates. There were three of us. We wound up with none of our celebrity guests made it to either location. Everybody just had time conflicts or medical issues, or something came up and they just couldn't. They couldn't make it. Which it would have been a lot of fun if we, because we were supposed to have J.B. Johnson, Victoria Monday, A.J. Capone. I can't ever say his last name right, but from Coventry Coventry Circle Paranormal up in Rhode Island. And we were also supposed to have Jimmy Boots Ventura from Haunted Man Productions. We're all supposed to join us over the weekend to investigate these locations. So it would have been a really good, really a lot of fun if we could have gotten our celebrities. But life happens for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're a blue collar worker or a famous author and publisher, or radio host. Just it happens. But they all have open invitations to join us again on other investigations, and we look forward to doing that with them. Next up, all right, we ended up with six tag-alongs, people that are mostly paranormal enthusiasts. We had one fella had some paranormal investigation experience, so he was kind of my guinea pig for for Saturday night. We had a little competition going. If you subscribed to the channel and followed us on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, got into our social media stuff, we entered you into a drawing to win a free spot and bring a guest along on the investigation, either one night or both nights. It didn't matter either one. As it turned out, we only had like 7 people. 7 people subscribed, so we didn't have a big pool to draw from. And much to my surprise, Christy, our drone pilot, Christiana Crouch, she was the one who was responsible for pulling the names. And my younger sister Elizabeth was actually the winner of the free tag along event. So she originally brought her son Michael, my nephew Michael. So I had my sister and my nephew, and as soon as we had other spots open up, she wound up bringing her son-in-law Michael, who goes by Whitey. He was actually the one with the paranormal experience, and a young lady by the name of Honey that was kind of kind of an adopted daughter individual. Um, she was she was actually kind of funny during most of the night. She did um, a lot of wide-eyed expressions and a lot of scooching up close to whoever was happened to be leading the team. So it was it was actually quite comical. But by the end of the night, she was kind of coming into her own. When we actually get to upload some of the footage, you get to see. The only thing, the only problem we had with her is that her EVP session, she would she had a continual commentary going on. She wasn't giving anything a chance to answer back. So we're going to have a hard time with the audio sorting out any kind of possible responses on that. But it should prove to be fun. Uh, anyway, so we had those four, and then we had uh, a woman by the name of Ilana and her husband Michael. So we had three Michaels there that night, which kind of really made things interesting. But Ilana is actually works at the truck stop that I stop at in Illinois, and she was the one that told me more information about Ashmore Estates. I knew kind of about it from the TV and whatnot, but she used to work there years ago as a tour guide. So she has a little bit of history with the place, and is very much a paranormal enthusiast. So is her husband. So they came along. So we had a total of six tag-alongs and three full-time investigators, um, and it was challenging. I will. There were no bones about it. It was challenging. It was like trying to herd cats every once in a while because everybody wanted to go do everything. Everybody wanted to play with all the equipment. So it took a little bit to rein them all back in. But I think that we probably even with the confusion and everything else, I think we still probably got really good stuff because uh, for one, it was a full moon that night. It actually was the first night of the full moon. Saturday, July 24th was actually the first night of the full moon. So, according to a lot of theories, that should have prompted some pretty good responses. I mean, we had some interesting personal experiences that happened. Um, I don't. There was a couple of unexplained things that went on that we, you know, like I say, because of the confusion, it was kind of hard to determine exactly what happened. And when we air the episode, you'll see, and hopefully you'll laugh a little bit like I did after it was all over. Um, sitting back, reflecting on everything that happened that night, it was actually quite a bit of fun. Um, all six of our tag-alongs enjoyed the night. They had a really good time. They had some experiences. Um, my my sister Elizabeth was really funny because she was she actually got a little kind of annoyed because she didn't think that she was having any kind of a personal experience um, during the whole investigation. But there was at one point where her cell phone, I'm not sure if it was an Android or it was an Apple, but her cell phone um, shut down, like it drained battery completely, dead flat, flat line, dial 911 EMS with the electric shock paddles was dead, and we plugged it into the charger, and the little uh, graphic display that comes up that shows that the battery is charging wouldn't activate, and we must have fussed and fiddled around with that phone for like a good solid 15 minutes before um, finally Alana actually got the phone to come on and start charging. So I had to explain to her, it's like you had a personal experience, you just don't realize it because it was your equipment and not your body that it was happening to. And then something happened with her car too. I don't. I'll have to bring her on the show as a guest and have her explain what happened with the car. But it was actually kind of funny. Um, but as we were waiting for our tag-alongs to show up, the three of us went on a tour with Sue. I gotta get that to stop. Um, excuse me for just a quick second here while I mute my phone so it'll stop dinging. Um, there we go. The three of us went on a tour of the facility with Sue, who is the manager caretaker of the property. And as we were on the second floor, we went into one room. We officially were dubbing it the divided room, but during the day we called it Jean's room, and you'll understand why we called it Jean's room. But we walked in, we were in the room, and we were listening to the story about this floor and in this particular room and everything else. And Jean had walked from one section of the room to the other, where there used to be a wall that divided it. And when she crossed that line that divided the room, she got sick to her stomach. And Jean doesn't get sick. Um, Jean, I mean, Jean rarely has any kind of reaction to any kind of paranormal activity. So when she said that she was feeling sick to her stomach, um, we clicked on this right away because it totally out of character for Jean to say that she's sick. And so that was one of the rooms that we set up. We set up an independent infrared camera and a digital recorder for that night. Um, so we got her out of there, and her stomach settled down, and everything was fine. We finished out the tour. When we got done with the tour, um, Elon, I think it may even have been the third floor, but I'm pretty sure it was the second floor. But anyway, when we got done with the tour, and we come back down and we caught up with Alana and Michael who had shown up while we were walking around and getting some background. Um, Afterwards, she said that she saw somebody in this one like porch room that looking out the window at her, and unfortunately, we didn't have any equipment up at the time, and she didn't tell us soon enough, so we weren't able to pursue it. But where she described this figure that was looking at her, you can't get to that room. That room, the door is closed and locked, and there's furniture in front of it to make sure that you don't go out on it. I don't know if the floor is not stable or what it is, why they don't want you out there, but it's blocked off so you can't get out to it. So there's no way for somebody to be standing in there looking at it. So that was kind of a cool thing to find out about. Uh, as we went along during the night, this is the one actually one piece of data that I could show you guys. See if I can bring it up onto the screen here because I've never actually. No, let's share the video file. I don't know if that'll do. That'll do it or not. No, that'll show a video file. Anyway, is there any way I can do that? I guess I'm going to have to learn how to do that. Let me see. Wait a minute. I bet if I do this, ooh, that's way too large. You have to resize that down. Size it down again, I guess. All right, so we will see if we can get this to work here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Share my screen. All right. Let's see. Window. There we go. All right. So it's kind of hard to see, but I'm going to see if I can't get it to point out a little bit here. Let me get a brush. Size. There. Okay. Right here. Okay, right there. It's kind of hard to see probably on your screen, but right here, I'm going to see if I can trace the outline of it. This little mark. There we go. That little mark right there. Let me see if I can go back to my screen here. Okay, that little mark right there was the same room, the divided room. We called it divided room that Gene got sick in. Later that night, we went. I went up, and the camera that I had posted in the corner, shooting across the room at the digital recorder, that camera the battery had died on it. So I'd gone up, I got the camera, brought it back down to the command post and changed the battery in it, put a fresh battery in it, took it back up, and I mounted it into the tripod that I had it in, and take that out of there. There we go. Put it back in the tripod, and after I got it back in the tripod, turned it back on, had it running, and I turned back around, looking into the room. All of a sudden, I got this squeezing feeling on my rib cage, and I was I started breathing. Had little difficulty breathing, had pain in the chest and whatnot. So I got on the radio, and it'll show up in the episode. But I got on the radio, and I called for help, and I said I need somebody to come to Gene's room, the divided room. I don't feel good, and I explained what was going on, and I actually wound up sitting down on the floor in front of the camera and tried to run off an EVP session while everybody came into the room, and it eventually eased up, and I was able to get back to my feet. And when I got to my feet, I'm standing there, and I could feel. It felt just like somebody was taking their thumb and they were pushing down on my back, trying to get me to kneel down. And I said, that I don't remember exactly, something about there's enough of that or whatever. And then I got sick to my stomach, like somebody had punched me in the gut when I was trying to talk, and I felt like I was going to kind of throw up there. And after that, everything kind of eased up really quick. So I shuffled all of our tag-alongs out of the room and had them go down. And I kept Gene back for a minute. I turned around, I lifted up my shirt, and I says, "Is there anything on my back right here?" And she took the picture there, and we found that little mark there. So, we have a little personal experience there. If something was going on, until we get a chance to actually review the footage and review the recording, we don't know if there's anything else besides what I experienced. Other than that, we had some stuff banging around. I think there was a little bit of shadow play that we chased after. We had some interesting things go off with the REM pod. We kept resetting it, but it still would do really weird stuff. That's about all I could really say for that. And then Whitey, my nephew-in-law, Whitey was doing a EVP session up on the third floor, They may have been the second floor, but this was towards the end of the night. But they were experiencing a cold spot, and during the cold spot the EVP session, um, Whitey says that he felt something like grab his hand. All right, am I back? I think I'm back. I have no idea what happened there. All of a sudden, my computer just shut down. It's probably a battery issue um, because I didn't have it fully charged when I started when I actually started the broadcast. See if I can get this thing set here. Uh, let's see here. I'm not even. I gotta make sure my camera and everything. My mic muted. Mic. All right. Uh, oh, sorry about that. Well, live and learn. Such is the life of a video producer, I guess. uh, so let's see where I guess where I left off. I was talking about Whitey's personal experience. Take my glasses back on. I said, he was doing an EVP session, and they had a cold spot that they were working with, and what he told me later on is he felt like something had come up and had grabbed his hand, had taken a hold of his hand, something cold, and it said as soon as that happened to him, he suddenly felt very sad and started crying, started weeping, uh, and he actually had to pull himself out of the session and take a little bit of a break. He'd never experienced anything like that before, so we gave Whitey something that a lot of people wish that they could experience themselves. Um, so hopefully, I'm not. This isn't getting broke up too much. So and in amongst all of this that was going on, not only did we have the full moon that I and a lot of other investigators researchers theorize that the full moon has a large effect on the amount of paranormal activity, but we also had a raging thunderstorm come through during the night. I mean, it was a big one. We had lots of lightning and thunder, downpouring rain. We actually had to pull out of a couple of the rooms because the rain was coming through the windows. Oh, excuse me. Spaghetti for dinner. And it's been a long day. uh, so, uh, uh, like I said, I feel that it was a very good investigation, even though there was some mass confusion there in the beginning. There was some good personal experiences that happened. Um, we definitely have a crap load of uh, material to go over. We've got all kinds of video footage we've got to look at. We've got DVR footage we've got to go over. We've got digital recorders. Um, I don't know how many handy cams we had running. I had some body cams on 3 people, so 3 or 4 people, 3 people. So and I'm not sure exactly how well those are working, so we'll have to, so that's going to be an interesting experiment in itself to see what comes out on those. Uh, Excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be itching my nose in front of you, but sometimes man's just got to do what a man's got to do. And I was in a dirt parking lot picking up this load, so it's like it kind of sparked off some allergy reactions. After we got done with Ashmore Estates, they've got these nice little bunkhouses that you can spend the night in. 12, 13 people can sleep in. A little bit more, because I guess they got a recliner and a couch whatnot too. But they've got these little bunkhouses that you can stay in. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to yarn in your face. uh, so after that, then we drove to we said goodbye to our tag-alongs. They weren't going with us to Bobby Mackey's. Um, we sent them on down the road, and we packed up and we headed for Wilder, Kentucky. And we didn't make it all the way down there. We stopped short, spent the night before we got down there. And the next day, we went down and we went to in Cincinnati. We went to for off the top of my head, I can't think of it. We went to a cemetery. This huge old cemetery in downtown Cincinnati, and we worked on some stuff that some uh, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I hate it when I do that. Oh my gosh. Um, I don't have anybody in the chat room to help me out with what I'm trying to think about saying. Urban legends. There was a couple urban legends that we had heard about the cemetery. One of them involved the bust of this one gentleman that supposedly was made with his actual eyes put into it, and which uh, on the surface sounds completely uh, false to begin with, because eyes are one of like the first things to break down, because they're mostly water and a little bit of cellular materials. They break down really quick, and if they were installed in the bust, the birds would have ate them, especially the crows. uh, so we looked at the bust, and no, they were not human eyes in there. And one of the other urban legends were that the head would turn and follow you as you walked past it. And so we went and looked at this, and it's definitely it's designed in the enigmatic enigmatic design, to where the it's like the Mona Lisa eyes, where no matter where you walk, the eyes look like they seem to follow you. The eyes do that. The way that it's sculpted, the details in it, the eyes do look like they follow you, but the head doesn't turn. It's a solid brass bust, and it doesn't turn. There isn't a seam on it. There isn't, because it's brass, it's solid. It doesn't, you'd have to get it really hot in order to get it to turn. So the head doesn't turn to look at where you're going. One of the other urban legends was you could hear a woman screaming in the distance. Um, and what we theorized is that what people are mistaking for women screaming is hawks calling. We actually got a few of we could hear them screaming in the calling in the distance. And if you're not real familiar with the bird, and it's kind of hazy, dark, twilight time or whatever, you could mistake it for a woman screaming in the distance. Uh, so we pretty much basically debunked that. And then, of course, then we went and we checked out the monument to Johnny Appleseed, which was kind of cool. I remember hearing about Johnny Appleseed when I was a kid in New York, and how he's responsible for the all the apple groves, apple orchards. So it was kind of neat to see his monument. I guess he's buried there too, from what I understand. I think that was what it was. I'll have to ask Gene about that again. Um, so after we got done with that, we went to the library and we did some research on some of the stories surrounding Bobby Mackey's. One in particular was about the supposed prostitute that was beheaded by her fiance, and they didn't find her head. I can't. Obviously, I'm tired. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head. But we searched that. We researched that story completely, and it's there's no attachment between her murder and Bobby Mackey's whatsoever. Um, we also couldn't find any evidence of Bobby Mackey's ever being a former slaughterhouse. Um, it did used to be a distillery, or was near a distillery. Um, Also, there the stories of the suicides on the railroad tracks in the back are fictional. As the railroad tracks, it's a switching line. It's not a regular rail line. So trains don't move up and down it fast enough to kill anybody unless you're extremely patient and want to lay there and torment yourself. Uh, so we kind of took care of those. Um, we got to Bobby Mackey's, and like I say, because we lost all of our celebrity our celebrity guests, and we couldn't get any other teams to come collaborate with us, which really disappointed us. There was only three of us to investigate the entire structure, so we were we were severely undermanned for this investigation. But we gave it a good shot. We 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 had some interesting things happen. Um, One of the most significant is when we were off into the dance hall part behind the bar, and we heard something fall. And Gene says, "I can't see my laser grid anymore." So we went up to what used to be the old kitchen, which is now like a reserved seating section, and where she had the laser grid pointed up, and the laser grid had been knocked out of well, you can't say fall because the mount that it is it's a squeezing mount. It doesn't let up. I mean, you have to squeeze it to let the pressure off of it, or you have to pull the laser grid pen. It's it's shaped kind of like a pen. It's about this long, I would say, and probably about as big around as not quite as thick as my finger. Kind of like a pen flashlight, and it sat in this squeezy type mount on a coil stand, and she had it pointed at the wall. And when we got up there, we found the laser grid was pointed the opposite direction, and it was out of the clamp and down on the rail for the knee wall rail. And there's there's no logical explanation for it being that way. And shortly after that, the batteries died out. Now, we had huge. Oh man, I cannot tell you how many battery drains we had on that investigation. We had portable batteries set up. We had uh, two, three cameras. The uh, the battery packs drained. Both batteries drained, and the only thing it didn't drain was the batteries on the lights, which was kind of weird. But just the batteries on the cameras uh, that just sucked them down to nothing. Uh, I did I did discover though that the battery pack doesn't work on my full spectrum camera because my full spectrum camera interprets that as going into charging mode, so it won't film anything. So uh, that it didn't do me any good to have that try and hook that up that way. So, but that battery went dead too. So I don't know. We've got to charge everything back up to see you know what we captured on those. Um, we did get we got some interesting stuff happened on the DVR cameras. Uh, I remember for me it was like for twice it was when I was looking away. I was writing something down in the notebook, so my head was down, and I caught movement in one in camera four. Something moved across the screen. Camera three, something moved across the screen, and then one time, um, I got overly excited. I admitted I lost my professionalism, but I still swear to God that this orb, which I don't get excited about orbs at all. I most of the time I could care less about them, but this one for me I saw this orb like appeared out of nowhere, just kind of like on the screen. I mean, it did. Usually orbs drift in, or drift up, or drift down. This just like popped up in the screen, looked like it was self-illuminating, and then it slowly faded out. And of course, I was being excited because I've never seen an orb do anything like that before, so I was a little excited. So uh, I may have misinterpreted it as I was watching it. So upon review, we'll know a little bit better what exactly was going on with that. Um, was it Cindy? Cindy saw a a fully self-illuminated orb go across the screen on one of the cameras. I don't remember which camera, but she saw that. At one point, I was off in, uh, I call it the bull riding room, where the mechanical bull is. I was sitting off in the back corner. I was filming and doing a EVP session on my own. And I'm sitting there, and Jean comes walking down the hall around the corner next to me. Kind of spooked me, spooked her at the same time. And she wanted to know if I was upstairs. Just, no, I've been sitting here the whole time. And what had happened is she and Cindy, sorry, um, she and Cindy heard footsteps upstairs in Carl's room. Um, Nobody else is in the building except for the three of us. Um, the person who was responsible for letting us in and out, she was sleeping in the car in front of the bar. So it was like it wasn't her, but also the footsteps didn't match any of the footwear that any of us were wearing. There was no other way to get in to the upstairs except past one of the three of us. And of course, then you had to be able to, you had to trip the secret lever to get in. No, that was to ring the bell. But you had to get past one of the three of us in order to get up the stairs to walk around up there. And of course, we would have heard somebody going up the stairs too because the stairs are creaky. So that's going to be interesting to see what what may have gotten captured on the cameras. We didn't install anything upstairs. We were going to do an EVP session upstairs, but unfortunately, we just ran out of time. We just, like I said, there wasn't enough of us to really do justice to Bobby Mackey's. But we didn't. You know, those are probably like the most extreme things that we had happen. The laser grid thing, that was really really freaky. I mean that's probably, that and the footsteps are probably like the two most extreme things that we had happen there that night. But like I say, we still have tons and tons and tons of footage and recordings to go over. Because we put out a lot of equipment. We had all 4 DVR cameras out, so we've got all of that that needs to be recorded. We had 2, 3. We had three handy cams out, IR cameras out. We had the full spectrum camera out. We had 1, 2. We were walking around with 2 other IR cameras. We had 2, 3 digital recorders out, and the laser grid. So we had a lot of equipment out. We did go downstairs into the basement. We did do a little bit of an EVP session down there. We wound up, but then once again we had another battery drain. So who knows what we caught? We think we heard singing while we were down there, which is actually reported activity. We thought it might have been. We thought it might have been Cindy upstairs singing, trying to get a reaction out of the shadows back off on the stage, because there's activity on the stage too. We thought it was her, but we couldn't reach her on the radio, and that may have just been a technical issue, but we couldn't get her on the radio, so we don't. Once again, we have to go to the recorders. We have to do the analysis to see what exactly we caught. So it's actually, we're excited to look at this at this footage. and see exactly what is where and why. Um, I actually, because I didn't have my computer with me, I had my friend was trying to fix it. He but so a lot of stuff that we recorded from Ashmore Estates. Oh, I can't get to right away because she has it. I have to wait for her to transfer it to me so that I can start analyzing that on my own. And but I still have the Bobby Mackey stuff for my equipment that we can analyze. So um, we're going to do this again someday, someplace. Uh, so if you're a paranormal enthusiast, a paranormal investigator, or a paranormal team, you know, we really want to collaborate with you guys. We want to, like you say, our whole mission is to build up a scientific database using uh, data from our team, your team, their team, and bringing it all together and forming a solid uh, theory, a hypothesis on what's going on in these different locations. So, um, unfortunately, we didn't have anybody take us up on on this on these first two here, but you know, we're still going to be out here doing it. I'm still traveling around the country. I'm still doing my investigations. Uh, Gene and Cindy are going to start up as a second unit and start traveling around and doing some stuff. So, you know, we need to hear back from you guys, and let's get things rocking and rolling, and let's go have some fun. Let's go see if we can't find a ghost or Bigfoot or an alien. We're interested in all of it, and we're not limiting our scope to just you know the non-temporal world. So, all right, so I'm going to call this a night. I'm gonna settle down and do my relaxation routine and get ready to go back to work tomorrow. So you guys all be safe. Have good investigations and adventures, and we look forward to seeing you probably next week. Have a good night.